see where everything is. We have cameras over all the registers, so that way if anybody's trying to do any kind of like illegal interaction, for example, say somebody's trying to credit card fraud, we get calls from the police all the time saying, hey, somebody used your store to purchase something with someone else's money. So then they'll come in, we give them the tapes, and they can actually, that helps them catch the guys. For example, say one of you guys is in here, right, and you get the right idea of trying to steal a DVD, right? Because what I'll do is I'll keep an eye on you and I'll watch you, and I watch you say, open the DVD and take it out and put it in your pocket, right? I follow you throughout the store, and then once you try to leave the store, I contact you, I go to you, I need you to come with me. I need you to come with me into my office, is right over here, which I'll take you guys to next, which I'll ask them to come in there, and then we call the police, obviously, and we actually detain them until the police come. Safety is the most important thing. This is where I do detain people. I have somebody with them at all times. The thing about us is just like Verizon Store, just like the Sprint Store, we can activate all those phones. We can activate AT&T, Verizon, and Sprint. We have a program called Beast that we use on those registers over there. So we can activate your phones. You can do it here, same price, same thing as if it was like at Verizon or something like that. It's just you get the benefit of the Best Buy service. Plus the Geek Squad over us over there, which is really cool because you can protect your devices. It's pretty cool. Tablets, desktops, printers, all that great stuff. We've got from the latest model, the Microsoft Surface 3, which I don't know, you guys have probably seen the commercial for, but it's a combination Surface and a computer. When we first started selling televisions, these televisions were mostly plasma and LCD, which produced a ton of heat. So you would stand back here and you'd sweat because it'd be so hot coming off the televisions. Nowadays, most televisions are actually LED televisions, which is television, or the 4K televisions, which is 4K.
They want to know what the disc is there.
That guy is actually for part of the display. For us, is what it does is that one, I'm pretty sure it's going to hold basically our video stuff. It's like a 4K player, basically, because right now the only way to get true 4K image right now is you have to have a Blu-ray player. It has to be connected with an HDMI cable, and it has to be one of the top-end Blu-ray players. Basically, this is holding this picture on it right now. That's really all it's doing on this one.
They have to be what's called MECP certified in order to work on a car. The Mobile Electronic Certified Professional is what that will stand for. And generally that's something that you'll have to do prior to even getting
pretty much everything I did in high school. Now it's a refresher.
You're applying it on the job.
Yeah, pretty much. It's all really the same thing when it comes down to like 12-volt sources, because like every vehicle you get into is 12 volt. The only real AC you run into is like your actual like wavelength. An actual sound itself is an AC form. Other than that, I mean, there's a lot of theories behind it, but the big thing with anything car audio, anything mobile electronics, is if you can find the information, you know, that's more, because you'll never know everything. It's impossible to know everything. Problem solving, especially with something like electronics in general, problem solving is huge. Because you get a huge job like this, they give you an allotment of time, and you're just sitting there kind of like, oh, how are we going to stick these in the doors? Oh, well, I guess we'll wing it.
TomWorks customer service is what we call a CSS, or a customer service specialist. So the job of a customer service specialist is, just as Mr. Cruz said, is to solve problems. So when you think of customer service, you think of returns. That's the first thing that you think of. But really it's Tom's job to help with any customer issue that we might have. So some of the common issues that we have are delivery issues. Either customer wants a different date, or we can't make a delivery at a specific time. That's something that customer service will look into first, try to solve the issue, and then escalate it up if need be. You will have a lot of returns that come through customer service, because that's where they go. What you'll also have are in-store pickups. So when a customer places an order on BestBuy.com and they want to pick up the product in store, they would come to customer service to pick that product up in store. The benefit, somewhere around 90% of Geek Squad's work is when a customer brings their computer in because there's an issue with it. So regardless of whether it was purchased at Best Buy, regardless of how old it is, Geek Squad will work on it. The fees will be determined by how old it is and by whether it was purchased at Best Buy and what kind of protection plans the customer purchased or whether they purchased tech support. But ultimately, these guys are trained to work on any product that comes through the door. They will primarily work on computers, so they'll primarily work on laptops and desktops. But they are trained also to diagnose issues with TVs, with Blu-ray players, with receivers, with cameras. We just don't work on those in-house. What ends up happening is they get shipped out. Across the company, or across the country I should say, we have 4 different service centers depending on what's being worked on. The main service center is in Louisville, Kentucky. They call it Geek Squad City, and any computer that needs to be worked on that is a customer's computer goes to Geek Squad City. So if it can't be fixed in store, if it's something like a motherboard needs to replace or it's a cracked screen and then needs to go out, those will go to Louisville, Kentucky or Geek Squad City. They'll work on roughly 20,000 computers a day at Geek Squad City. If a customer has a TV that's going out, that will go to our New York service center. So our New York service center will work on any of our bigger products. So TVs, appliances, they'll work on home audio as well. Any of that stuff will go to 615, which is in New York. That's the number that it's called. And then if a customer brings in, let's say, a camcorder breaks or a camera breaks, we send that to either El Paso, Texas or Connecticut, depending on what kind of camera it is. If it's a digital SLR, it will go down to Texas. If it's a point and shoot camera, it will go to Kentucky. But those are all for when something happens to them and they need parts replaced. The initial diagnosis will happen here in the store with a live Geek Squad agent so they can explain to you what the issue is. So what you're seeing is a very full warehouse right now. Usually the appliance side is about 1/3 as full as it is right now. So we've just got a lot more orders than what we normally would. The guys that work back here, they're called inventory merch associates, so inventory and merchandising. We'll have about 7 people that are responsible for maintaining, making sure that everything that's coming into the building is coming into the building properly and that it's going into our system properly so that we don't incur what we call shrink, which is when we lose a product or when a product goes missing, when a product gets stolen. Somehow it got put out of our system improperly. Store still has to pay for that, but we don't have the product then in turn to sell. So their main responsibility is to make sure that the product is coming and going properly.